We're here today to ensure U.S. markets remain healthy, vibrant, and the envy of the world. This year, our committee has found bipartisan agreement on solutions to strengthen our public markets and increase opportunities for all investors. I hope we can continue that constructive work today. Unfortunately, we've seen a disturbing trend in the Biden administration's approach to regulating our capital markets, particularly at the Securities and Exchange Commission. Rather than focusing on sound financial regulation, the SEC has turned its attention towards non-material environmental, social, and political issues. This misguided approach has led to increased costs and burdens for those participating in the U.S. public markets. These politically motivated regulations not only discourage private companies from going public, but also hinder the competitiveness of American public companies. The everyday investors who rely on financial returns for their retirement savings bear the brunt of these consequences. Today, we will discuss a slate of proposals that provide common-sense solutions to strengthen our public markets. To be clear, these are not about delivering a message. They're about making a difference and making a meaningful change to protect investors and ensure our public markets, our markets, remain robust and competitive. First, we must make necessary reforms to the proxy process to restore its efficiency in promoting long-term shareholder value. We must prevent shareholder activism from diverting attention and resources away from the core issues at hand. To be clear, I support shareholder democracy, but it should be their say, not external third parties who exploit the existing process to impose their own social and political beliefs into and onto American public companies. This undermines the very principles of democracy and transforms corporate boardrooms into political platforms, overshadowing sound financial decision-making. Ultimately, this harms everyday investors in our public markets. Second, we must address the burdensome climate reporting and other requirements imposed by the Biden administration's Securities and Exchange Commission. The SEC has proposed a 500-page climate disclosure rule that would replace voluntary sustainability reports with mandatory disclosures, and the question of materiality is really thrown out the window. This includes demanding detailed emissions data and climate risk management strategies, even when that information is not material to the company's business or their inner workings. The SEC is not a climate regulator, nor has Congress authorized it to mandate environmental policy via the disclosure regime. In fact, Republicans have consistently voiced concerns with the multitude of existing disclosures imposed by the SEC and emphasized the need for simplification rather than added complexity. Finally, many on the left have raised concerns that we are not keeping up with our European counterparts in addressing environmental and social issues. They argue we should mirror the European approach rather than protecting our interests from the extraterritorial reach of foreign regulators. They want to allow European bureaucrats to dictate these priorities because they've been unable to legislate them here in the United States on the wider economy and the wider populace. What this really comes down to is international competition. We will not be able to maintain our standing as the world's most envied capital markets by taking misguided cues from other countries. The legislative proposal before us today aimed to tackle these issues head-on. It's time to get politics out of corporate boardrooms and discourage financial regulation from being weaponized to drive far-left environmental and social policy. By doing so, we can ensure that our markets remain competitive and enable American companies and workers to thrive.